Live sessions. Today we are here with ANEES the rapper. He's a very
Going up,
soulful,
people.
cheerful, amazing human being on Instagram, YouTube. I don't know if you've seen him, but you must see him. Beautiful energy, beautiful vibe, and we had to get him here on Louder today. So ANEES, welcome to Louder.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, my honor to be here. I'm excited for this conversation, and I'm excited to be in this conversation, not just with you, but with everybody watching. I think this will be very fruitful.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. So wait, ANEES, where do you live now? Just so we can get people to on board with where you are.
Yeah, no, I'm outside the DC area. I live in Northern Virginia.
Nice. And have you ever been to Dubai?
I have not yet.
Are
Not
you
yet.
planning?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Actually, I was just having a conversation earlier today about plans to go there. So, yes,
We can't wait to meet you.
I can't wait to be there. I think it'll be, I've only heard amazing things about the music scene, the art scene. So, it'll be a blast.
It is great, and I can't wait to have you here. So we're gonna dive deep right now into a journey into your inner thoughts, and I hope you're ready for a louder session. Before we do so, would you like to share the link of where we are live now with your followers, or are you good?
Yeah. You mean on my Instagram?
Yeah, just so
I'm on
everybody
my
can.
phone. I'm on my phone
Oh,
now.
okay. All
So
right.
if I do that, I think I might lose the
Yeah, yeah,
connection. But
you
I'll
lose
do.
me. Let's dive deep. We already did
Awesome.
it earlier. Awesome. Okay, so ANEES, what does it mean to live your truth, and why is it important to you?
I think living your truth to me means living your life the way that your heart calls you to, not filtering your behavior for fear of other people, which I was doing for a long time. So I know what it feels like to not live your truth. I know what it feels like to be um, modifying your lifestyle because you're afraid of what someone will say or what someone will think. But yeah, no, I think when you start to live your truth, it means you're following your heart. And I know that's a very cliche term, to follow your heart or listen to your heart, but it's very real. Your heart is your brain. It's your most honest guide in life. And I hope that everybody finds a way to live their truth in that way. Uh-oh, I think it's muted now.
Sorry, when did you feel like you have to live your truth?
When I was at my lowest point, that's I think when I figured out, like, yeah, I've got to do this. So I was a little backstory about me. I went to law school, became a lawyer, and throughout the process of that journey, I was very unsatisfied, very unfulfilled. I was not living my truth at all. I was at a place in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just felt like I had to do what was acceptable, do what was
Expected of you.
or traditional, yeah, whatever would like not be embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? And so throughout the process of pursuing that and basically going against what my heart was calling me to, I became, the further you go from your heart's calling, the sadder and the darker life gets. And I think when I got to that lowest point of being very depressed, to be honest, I was at a point where I was like, okay, like I can either live this life of like sadness or I can make a tough decision. But on the other side of that tough decision will be happiness. And so it really wasn't that tough of a decision. It was just like the initial, like breaking it to everybody. But after that, everything was sort of like cake.
When you say sadness, when did you start experiencing that type of sadness that forced you to change and pivot into a direction of what your heart truly wanted you to do? What happened there?
Mm. Um, it's a feeling throughout the day. It's the feeling of you know wanting to go to sleep, wanting to not being excited to wake up in the morning and do your daily schedule, not just being at a point where you dread the next day, because you should never feel that way. Life is so beautiful. Life is so incredibly abundant and beautiful, and there's so many possible, like, we are so lucky and so blessed. At least I am, and very privileged from where I live and being in a place of, having been raised comfortably with every option. And I know not everybody has that, but at least me being in this position, the world was open to me to do anything I wanted to do. So many options, no limitations. And so it's like when you're at a place where you're dreading your days, you have to ask yourself, like, what am I doing wrong here? Because I don't think life has to be this way. Like, I know there are other options, and you see other people living those other options, you know, you look at artists that you admire, you look at entrepreneurs that you admire, you look at, you know, even people who decided, okay, I want to be a, you know, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to be a soccer player. I want to be whatever. And they're doing it. And then when you contrast their reality with yours of, I don't want to be doing this and I'm very sad and I dread my days, you sort of come to a reckoning point where it's like, this is not the only option. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people come to that reckoning point their own way. And I think maybe some people never come to that point, and it's quite, you know, sad sometimes to see that. But we're so blessed, especially in this age of digital media, where we're exposed to the options. You know, we're exposed. We see it, even if you don't have to live in LA or New York to see. Oh wow, like there's options, especially for an artist. There's options to be out here creating art and living this life, and living your truth, like you said. And so I think, yeah, it came to a point when I started dreading my days. I was like, we can't do this any longer, you know?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
And how did you pivot from being a lawyer? Did you go into law? Did you dive deep, or did you study and just get out of there?
I put one toe in the water and said, this isn't for me. You know, I studied, passed the bar, became barred. But there were 3 months in between taking the bar exam and receiving my results. And they told me there's going to be 3 months before you receive your results. So those were the first 3 months that I had to myself for years. And I took those 3 months and I did like what you would call like soul searching, just sort of listening, talking to people whose opinions matter to me. And in those 3 months, I came to the conclusion, like, no matter what, whether I pass or fail, I'm not doing this. Even if I pass, I'm not doing this. And I passed, which is nice, but like, thank God. The real test was, I think, for me in deciding am I going to listen to my heart. So
100%. And we're so glad you did, because you are inspiring all of us out here. I mean, even overseas, you can clearly see that.
Thank you.
And ANEES, can you tell us what lovers do?
I can tell you what lovers do. Lovers pursue what their heart calls them towards, just like this conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I think the funny thing is about this song, What Lovers Do, that I wrote, a lot of people are, and I think every song should be open to interpretation, but a lot of people are interpreting that song as being quite romantic, you know, intimate, you know, sensual. And like, that's great. But for me, I think the deeper message of the song and the concept of doing what lovers do is, when your heart calls you to something, you have to chase it. Whether it's, I love this person and I have to pursue them. I love this job, I have to pursue it. I love this reality. I love myself. And I think it's that same degree of like passionate love that calls people to the love of their life. Whether it's, you know, the person that they love the most, the job they love the most, the place they love the most. So yeah, I think that's what lovers do.
When did you write the song? It just got released, didn't it?
It did. Yep. We just released it on what is today? Today's Thursday. We released it last Monday. And you know, the funny thing is, I wrote it like over a year ago. I put it on Instagram.
It's only released now.
Because when I wrote it, I'm so constantly posting on social media every day. Instagram, TikTok, boom, 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 boom. So I'm coming up with sketches all the time. Like What Lovers Do, Slip was a sketch. You know, Love Is Crazy was all my songs that were at one point songs that I was sketching out and sharing on social media. And with What Lovers Do, it's just one of those sketches that I think my community really was like, we like this, like, you need to give us this. And I'm not one of those artists that is like, no, like, I'm going to put out what I want and what I want only. Sometimes you got to listen to your audience, and sometimes you got to let it be a two-way street of like, oh, okay, they're feeling this song, they're feeling this message, they're feeling this melody, whatever it is they're feeling it. And so finally, when I came to that realization of like, they want this, I was like, let's give it to them. Let's record it, let's produce it, let's get it out.
I love it. Honestly, what got me to your profile, I don't know, went into a hole on Instagram and found you. But what
That's how Instagram works.
exactly. But how I stuck there was your energy on on the social platform is different, and I'm so I'm so like astonished by how your energy is received through social in the most soulful, beautiful, intentional way, and where do you today put your intentions? What do you feel or believe that your purpose is today after
Mm.
you've done your soul searching?
It's gonna sound very generic. Whenever I answer this question, it never sounds. I don't think as there's
I
no
think
one specific answer to this, but I think all of our intention, all of our my purpose in life and what I believe perhaps the purpose of life is to do everything you can with the talents and the abilities and the blessings and the privileges you were given to make the world a better place. It's so corny. I know it's corny, but it's so real because, you know, if that weren't the case, then some people's lives would mean less than others, right? But since I believe it is the case, everybody's life is equally as impactful to the world as everybody else's. Whether you work at the Starbucks, you're the bank teller, you're the truck driver, you're the artist, you're the school teacher, like you are using your abilities, whatever they are, your blessings, your privileges, your understandings, your perspectives to the best of your ability for the world. Whether that means you're, moving the food from the factory to the grocery store, or you're helping the kids get from school to college. And for me, it's trying to help people. It's trying to use my musical and my lyrical abilities to get people um, from wherever they're at to somewhere happier, to somewhere more fulfilled, to somewhere more joyful. Because I don't believe I can change anybody's life. I don't believe anybody can change anybody's life, but I believe everybody has the power to change their own life. So I can hopefully inspire people to change their own life. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to think, oh yeah, we're going to change people's lives, but that's just like the ego. You can't change anybody. People have to
you
make their own
never,
decisions.
yeah, you can't change nobody's life. You can plant
No,
seeds. That's how I feel it.
exactly.
You can plant a
Exactly.
seed,
So we're
but I
planting
think
seeds with music.
exactly. So our purpose is to plant the seed, 100%. I also believe that if you plant the seed and then if you wait for it to grow, then I think you're also digging your own grave because you can't wait
Ooh,
for that seed to grow because
yes.
it might be that that seed is not going to grow.
Yep.
And then you're missing out on planting a seed with someone else.
So funny you say that because I used to work at a summer camp for 5 summers. And one of the biggest messages that I came to understand is that you may never see the fruits of your own labor. Everybody wants the
Exactly.
instant gratification. I helped this person, and then they were so grateful that they just told me how great it was. They cry. People want to see like visible, emotive. But it's like that's when your ego's involved. Like when your ego is driving you, it's like, yeah, you want to see that. Give me the
You
reaction.
want
Show me
to,
how great I am, right? But
yeah,
when your heart is involved, you can put that work in, and that is the reward. So like if the
move
whatever
on.
yeah, because whatever fruits of your harvest come, they're not your harvest. They're that person. So it's like, and that's the most beautiful thing if you think about it, because you could be having a bad day 2 years from now, but it might be on that day. Little do you know that
Exactly.
some work you put in changed somebody's life 2 years down the road, and you might never know. So it's like on any day, there's the plausible deniability of like I might have done something wonderful. You know,
100%. Yeah. Do you have any fears?
oh, so many of them.
You want to tell us about them?
Sure, sure. I think we all do. I think that is. I think humans either act on fear or desire when we are. Um, Let me rephrase that. I think when humans are messing up, it's because we're acting on fear or desire.
Okay.
Um, and for me, there's lots of fears. There's the fear of. Um, there's the fear of time, and by
Oh my
that I
God.
mean the fear of time, not having enough time. But in reality, I know on the flip side that time is abundant. So it's an illogical fear. It's an irrational fear, but it's a fear. There's the fear of, I'm trying to figure out exactly how to word these fears, because there's the with every fear there's the roots and there's the weeds, and sometimes we see the weeds and think that's what we're afraid of, but we're afraid of something much deeper.
100%.
And so for me, with the fear of time, it's like the fear that I don't have enough of it, the fear that maybe I started too late, the fear that I won't be able to accomplish what I have set out to accomplish in the time that I have given. And all of that comes from a place of lack of belief in the abundance of the world, in my faith, in my purpose. So I know it's a fear I can overcome. There's also the fear of judgment, oftentimes. And the fear of judgment, I think, for me, manifests in very subtle ways, because I'm very confident. I really am. I know I'm confident, and I know I believe in myself. And at this point, I mean, I have to say this, the universe has given me so much affirmation. I have no rational reason to fear judgment. Because I've been given unrealistic affirmations, like, and I say unrealistic, nothing's unrealistic, but like unrealistic affirmations, things that nobody gets, really, that I shouldn't take for granted.
Talk about,
but at the end of the day, when I take those affirmations for granted, I can start fearing judgment. This superstar or that superstar might say you're great, but then I might have a post one day, and I might start comparing myself to somebody else. And I'm like, oh, I don't think I sound as good as that person. So then I start fearing other people are going to judge me. But then I realize nobody's judging me by comparison to that person. They're judging me only on me, and they're not judging me. They're just appreciating me. So you create these things in your head. And I think one other one would be the fear of success.
Why do you believe that you might have, or you have, fear of success?
Because success means change. Success means that you lose control. When I'm just starting my Instagram 3 years ago, I got no followers. I could post whatever I want. Nothing's going to change. And I know at that point in 2019, 2018, like, it's going to take years before so like, there's nothing scary in that. It's just the same. My whole life can remain the same. You grind every day, go home, eat, hang out with the friends, hang out with my wife. My life is normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, from 2018, 19, 20, then success starts coming, right? You start getting 10,000 followers, 50,000, 100,000. You start getting verified. You start getting millions of streams. You start getting fans from other places in the world. You start having people recognize you in real life where you're most comfortable. And then you start to realize, oh, like, my life is different now. And there are different expectations that people are holding. And there are different realities that I have to navigate. And so when that happens, your life changes. You lose a little bit of control. We all love having control of our lives. Success
100%.
kind of yanks the reins a little bit away from you. You have to wrestle for the reins of your life against success, I think.
Do you believe fear of success comes also, so change, that's one, and fear of success can come because you're now responsible.
Like you said, you're now responsible.
You're now responsible. So for example,
okay. Yes.
Yeah, you feel it could also be that, right?
Yeah, I mean, with every platform comes responsibility,
Yeah.
and I see a lot of artists really using their platforms in a beautiful way, and I commend that. Inspires me. And then I see a lot of people who are using their platform in a way where I'm like, man, like, I don't know if I believe in that. I don't know if that's, and it's not about judging people. It's not about, because everybody's got their own life and their own story and their own truth, right? But you do realize, like, okay, first and foremost and most importantly, there's kids watching. Because in the age of social media, kids have more access to anything than they ever had before. And kids are the most important thing in the world, period.
Yeah.
You have children watching you who are not just the future, they're the present. You have impressionable people watching you, people who are going through mental health struggles, people who are looking up to you, admiring you, and potentially making their next move in life based on your inspiration. And so
Exactly.
you realize, it's actually, when you say you have responsibility, like for me, sometimes it's hard to even be aware of that cognitively. It's hard to remember that, because like as an artist, and especially as an independent artist, self-managed artist, it's a grind where I'm focused so much on my career. It is hard to remember that sometimes. It is hard to like step
Put it
out of
into consideration.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know it at the end of the day, but in my day-to-day, moment by moment, when you're just in the grind, it's easy to forget those things, which is
100%.
also scary. That comes with success.
I think as long as the intention is in place, and the fact that the awareness of children are watching, and you are responsible for your platform and you do have followers, as long as that awareness is there and the intent of creating is to plant that seed, I think then when it slips, it's a kind of okay, you know.
Yeah, I mean, people know you're human, and I don't
Yeah.
hide that on my platform. Like, that's one of my most favorite decisions of mine as a artist or as a creative, is that like I chose to just be very real with my audience, which comes with pros and cons. On one side, you lose the smoke and mirrors that a lot of artists have. You can't. Some artists like having a veil where it's like, behind this veil, you don't. There's plausible deniability. Like, I might be cooler than you think I am. Uh, I might be more cool than you even realize, or I might be less cool than you think, but you don't know, right? Like, for me, I think I realized like that's just too stressful to try to fight a battle of trying to convince people of who I am, like
Mm.
that. And I think that's like something you go through in high school and like grade school, where it's like, I don't
Yeah,
want
or
to do
you're
that.
hiding yourself. Yeah.
I'm an adult. Like, you can either dislike me or not like me, but I am who I am, and like I'm trying to get better at certain things that I'm not good at. But like
and
I
it's
I don't I don't
less of,
that.
and it's less of a hassle to have that veil, and it's energy draining. I mean, as adults, I feel like we already have enough.
Yeah.
To add that, like, it's easier to just be you, and when
And
you're not being you, you're just putting so much energy into not being you. It's like, what?
yeah, it's a whole nother part of your job to well, I mean, it's like, think of it, if you were an actor, you have to play a role. You have to
100%.
it's time and energy consuming, and then you come to realize, oh my God, people like me better than this role I was playing. Because in the beginning of my career, I think I did, the very beginning, struggle like to be like, what's my tone on social media? What's my image? What's my brand? Um, and I come to realize, like, it's me, you know, it's me, and like it doesn't come without its drawbacks, because there's definitely, then when people attack you, it's like, it's personal. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they don't like something about what they're seeing, it's like they're not liking you, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay,
Exactly.
because like, no, if everybody likes you, then like you're probably pretty boring. And if um you know and if people have a problem with you, I definitely came to learn this like a little while ago, which was really nice. It's never about you. It's never about you. It's always about them. They're going through something and they're projecting onto you. Like, even when I don't like something about someone, it's not about that person, it's about me. It's like, you can never take things personal.
I agree, and I believe if people don't like you, I mean, sorry, if everybody likes you, then I believe you're somehow somewhere people pleasing, and you're somehow somewhere still not fully being true to yourself. And I think that's where we need to
People
watch ourselves.
toxic. Yeah, I agree. I
People are
agree.
toxic. Is that what you said?
No, people pleasing is so toxic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think
because it's
that's what
like,
I meant.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people pleasing is the worst characteristic.
And
I'm guilty of it. I'm
oh,
guilty of it.
we all are. I mean, I have to say, like, it's definitely one of those things where, like, I'm perhaps like on the other extreme where I don't like consider people enough, um, but like I know it's in my immediate life there are people who are very who struggle with people pleasing, and I see how it eats away at people. You know, because you exhaust so much of your energy and your emotion into trying to do something for somebody else that you can never do. You can never please somebody else. They have to please
Mhm.
themselves. So like it's like if you spend every day working super hard manual labor trying to build a wall you could never build. It's like you're just gonna kill yourself slowly. So it's like why even try?
Yeah, why even bother? And honestly, as someone who used to people please and finally found out how to get myself out of it, I look back at my old self and it's not so long ago. I wonder why. And people pleasing doesn't come just because you want to please another person. It's really not about that. It's also back to yourself.
Yeah.
You're missing things inside of you that you're trying to fulfill with people, with friends, with strangers, even.
Yeah.
So I think whether people love you so much, then you're people pleasing somehow, maybe people should watch out to that characteristic on themselves. And if people hate on you, I think it's also, yeah, like you said, a reflection of that person.
Right.
And vice versa. If I'm hating on someone, then I should ask myself as well. So in reality, we're really all just each other's mirrors,
That's
you
so
know?
true. That's so true. And you know, because of that, it should be so easy for us to
Fix ourselves.
and never judge other people because it's like
Yeah.
I can relate, but it's you know it's
It's easier to judge.
easy and it's easier said than done, you know, because we're broken and we're all navigating you know, because of fear. Everyone's afraid.
And healing
If
is not an easy journey. It's a painful one. People are talking about it. It's great and it's trending, amazing. But it's like it's a journey, and shedding is a heavy. And to shed, you're on the path of healing, and people never combine these two words, which healing is shedding, and shedding is fucking painful.
oh
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
painful
say it.
and like
It's fucking
and
painful.
and I think society sells us on this romantic idea of like be as happy as you can be, live as long as you can live. It's like more and better and happier is the goal. But like you said, sometimes you got to go through the shit. Sometimes you got to like sometimes like pain is what you need. You like I
Exactly.
genuinely and I had this conversation literally last night. Humans are meant to suffer. Like not our whole lives, but we have to go through suffering to
100%.
find like healing and to find redemption and to find um purpose. And it's just the same. I mean, if I told someone, yeah, there's peaks and valleys in life, people would believe that, right? Oh, yeah, peaks and valleys, ups and downs. It sounds nice, but when you put it in those terms, like suffering, like, I don't know if we're supposed to suffer, but we are. Like
And then, yeah,
that's what happens in the valleys.
and then you're talked like people don't approve with you when you start putting healing and negativity together, but the truth is the truth. No one is healing without pain, no one is healing without tears, no one is healing without, well, at least for me, crossing some suicidal thoughts,
Yeah.
because you think you're not good enough, or this is life and that's it, it's over, and that's what it will forever be. No one's healing without these things. And if someone is, that's amazing. Please come on the show and tell us your secret sauce.
But no, it's not a human. That's not a human, you know,
Yeah.
because like you said, like those thoughts of suicidal thoughts, depression, anxious thoughts, anxiety, um, they're all part of the human experience of reconciling for your existence and trying to understand your purpose and your pain and your story. And it's like you said, no one heals without pain or adversity, right? Like there's a story where and someone taught me this the other day and I can't remember exactly who it is, but I wish I could give him credit. Let me think for a second. I wish I could throw their name out in particular. It was somebody, but trees.
Yeah.
They built trees in a dome, right? And those trees kept dying, right? And the reason why those trees were dying is because the roots of those trees weren't being tested. So there wasn't any wind, there wasn't any adversity for the trees to tell the roots grow stronger, to have the tree go through adversity and become stronger, right? We as humans, same thing. If we don't go through, oh, it's my friend Morgan. Shout out Morgan J. He's a comedian.
Hi, Morgan.
But as humans, if we don't go through adversity, if we're not tested, if we don't suffer, we don't grow stronger. We're not meant for a life without it. And so it's like, and that's why people who I think grow up without any adversity, they really struggle when the first adversity hits, maybe in their adulthood, because they're not, and that's why I think the people who grow up through adversity are the strongest, because they've been building those roots from childhood. And so they're life tested. And we all exist somewhere on that spectrum of like how much adversity we've gone through, how early, and adversity can be quite physical, of like, we need a place to live, we need food, or it can be emotional abuse, or it can be just like mental health struggles or academic struggles. It could be anything. And that's the beauty of life, is that we're all going through our own, and I don't believe in comparative suffering. Nobody's suffering is more or less important than the other, but everybody's story is different. And so in that way, we can all be a mirror for each other, but we can all also be like that missing puzzle piece of like, oh, like I can help you because I understand how this works. You can help me because you understand how that works.
Yeah. What do you believe, ANEES, this world is missing?
That's a great question. What do I think the world is? So many things the world is missing. I'm gonna try to answer this in a non-generic sense. I think the world is missing nothing, actually.
Really?
I think the world is missing nothing, yes. I think the world is quite abundant. I'm changing my answer. I don't think there's so many things.
Where are you twisting this to?
Because the world is so abundant. The world, we have everything we need already, right?
So what do you think humanity is missing?
Okay, that's a different question. I think humanity is still missing nothing. I think the problem is excess, not what we're missing. I think humanity is corrupted with greed. And I think greed and fear causes humanity to not realize that we already had everything we already need, right? We already had the abundance, whether it was nature, sustenance, love, opportunity,
compassion, empathy, forgiveness.
All of our emotions. Our heart is everything we need. And I'm a spiritual person, and I think God made us with everything we need from the very beginning. Which is why I don't believe in so much of these new technological advances, even though I'm a social media artist who's come up on technology. But I'll say this: I don't think we need it. I don't think we need, these new ways of being able to communicate through technology. I don't think we need these new ways of being able to virtually live in a different reality. I don't think we need any of those things. I think those are all distractions from our pain, and our pain can be, I think, healed from in what we already have, in nature, in a clean diet, in time with other human beings, in literature, in reading, in storytelling, in art. I really think we don't miss anything. I don't think the world's missing anything. I don't think humanity's missing anything. I think we're trying to have things we don't need. We're trying to look elsewhere for things that are already inside of us. You will go crazy, I think, if you're always looking there for something that's in here, because you're going to spend your whole life. It's like if you were playing hide and go seek with a friend and you spent 99 years looking for him, you're going to go crazy. It was in here. It's like the story of the alchemist, right? The treasure was already inside. And so we exhaust our lives. And I'm guilty of this as an artist, especially. Oh my God, looking for affirmation, followers, stream counts, money, whatever it is, looking for fulfillment outside, because it'll never exist out there.
Where do you look for fulfillment now, and what do you advise others to do to find fulfillment, knowing that we live in such an environment, in such away?
I still look for it in the wrong places. But in the times where I'm looking for it in the right places, it's within my heart. You know what I'm saying? So as an artist, if you believe in your art, if your art makes you feel some type of way, it's incredible. There's
Yeah.
nothing better. That is
Mm.
successful, powerful art.
Soul filled, yeah.
And the moment, and I learned this from my friend Yusuf, the moment that you start creating your art out of the fear of affirmation, out of the fear of algorithms, out of the fear of I need to get this done in time. The moment art is made of fear, it's going to be shit art. And because art has to come from love, not fear. And I create most of my art from fear, which is why most of the things I've made are shit. But the few times that I made something out of love, it's clear the world is like, whoa, that is different. And
Mm.
so, and I think that's every artist. Every artist can acknowledge that 99% of what they made is shit. And that 1% of what they made is like, oh man. And it's because that 1% of the time they had the gumption to follow their heart. And they had the intuition and the clarity and the peace of mind to be like, I'm going to sit down and write or paint or create this from the power in here,
Yeah. And what is it you're working on now, apart from what lovers do? Are you working on something else?
Oh yeah, big time. I got What Lovers Do just dropped it last Monday. And then I want to drop like 4 more songs by the end of 2021. That will give me, I think, 8 on the year, which is good. It's less than what my goal was, but it's plenty. Um, and then an album in 2022. And the album, I'm just gonna say right now, is gonna be like so amazing and so powerful because the main difference on the album is going to be that I'm going to say yes to way more things. I'm going to involve way more collaboration. I'm going to create art for the first time in my life. Um, I think with fear not being too much in the picture. And I'm just going to say yes. If there's someone I admire and like we talked about making a song, I'm going to be like, let's make it. If my producer wants to challenge me in a way, I'm going to say, yes, let's do it. If I'm sitting here after we get off this call and I'm like, I have 2 choices. I can stress out about the algorithm or I can go sit down in a park and write lyrics for 2 hours. Let's go write those lyrics. I'm going to start saying yes. And I think that's why that album, and I'll say this right now, is going to be the one that's like, whoa, like not only is it the most important thing is it's going to connect with people more than ever before, but on a secular and worldly level, it's going to be the one for me. It's going to be the one where it's like, okay, wow, like I can now do this full time and I can now be at a point where I'm sustainable on my own art. And that's, I think, really every artist's most important threshold.
So this album is going to be your proof of what it means to truly be yourself and trust in yourself.
Yeah, to myself, proof to myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be proof to everybody that this is what happens when you trust and believe in yourself without fear. So we can't wait, really.
I'm so excited because like dropping singles is nice, and I'm gonna probably drop the album in singles, but dropping singles is nice, but it's so much nicer when you can tell a cohesive story, when you can sort of give people a more sensible narrative, because storytelling is the most important thing in art, in my opinion.
I believe storytelling is truly the most important thing in any form of expression.
Yes.
Without storytelling, I think any form of expression would truly lose its sense of value and uniqueness and rawness to your human self and another human connecting to you. So
So
I truly believe and love what you're doing because it does have a true story to it, and your passion and your soul and your vibe is really out there. When I posted that I'm doing an interview with you, someone said, "This guy's energy is insane." And they're living in Saudi.
that's crazy.
So
That's
you should
it's
know. You should know you're translating your truth online.
that's hard to sort of it's so you hear one thing on digital media, but it's different when it's like in person. And it's like, I'm just, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Like, and it's just so real. Like when you follow your heart,
It
things like that happen. When you follow
it
your
is.
heart, like, the world opens up to you. And like, I saw other people doing it before I was following my heart, and I believed it because they did it, you know? And so like,
Exactly. They planted the seed in you.
and now it's like, oh, like I can be the person helping plant the seed. And it's just like if you needed any proof, like I'm so happy to be the proof for people. Like less than 3 years ago, I was not making music. I was delivering pizzas. I was lost. I was substitute teaching. I was overcoming. I was on the tail end of overcoming a battle with mental health. Um, and I said I'm going to follow my heart, and here we are. It's life can change quick when you just decide like stop fighting it. You know,
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
of course.
Who inspires you? We're getting into to the end, and first I want to know who inspires you. I want to know um how you want to be remembered.
Ooh. Um, I have many inspirations. I think first and foremost is like my inner child. And I say that in the sense of like, I try every day to remember the way I was as a kid. I try to remember what 10-year-old ANEES cared about, what 5-year-old ANEES got excited about, what 15-year-old ANEES was curious about. Um, and I think when you let your inner child still be present as an inspiration, you can make, because your inner child was the one who was most true to who you are. I mean, that's the best version of yourself. So I try to let that be my inspiration so I can get back to that as close as possible. Um, but I'm also inspired by other people more so. Anyone who has overcome fear, anyone who has gone through that terrifying battle with with fear and hypotheticals and what ifs.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I know people in my life that have gone through some really scary times that have um, allowed themselves the courage to to say no to those fears and to say yes to life. Um, Friends, some of my best friends, my wife, just people and people I don't even know, people I've never even met in real life, artists that I admire that just like inspire me in the way that they have decided, you know what, I'm going to connect with people. I'm going to I'm going to let my life be a mirror for other people, and so I think in that sense, artists like Lauren Hill, artists like John Mayer, artists like India Ari, like artists who tell stories from their heart. And
Yes.
yeah, I think storytellers are like probably some of the more inspiring people.
Same. Same.
And in terms of how I want to be remembered, I don't think it matters really, because like if we get into that, it's going to start getting really, for me, it's going to start getting really ego based of like what legacy I want or what, you know, because it all has to do with like trying to reconcile with mortality. Like I'm going to die, and I don't think I will be remembered. To be honest with you, like very, very, like shortly after, like maybe I'll get remembered for like, you know, when I get to the pinnacle of my career, maybe that'll get me to a point where I'm remembered for like a few hundred years or something. Like maybe,
I
and
think
then like,
I
what was
think
that?
you'll be remembered. I think you'll be remembered for your humble soul and
Maybe I'll be,
beautiful art.
maybe I'll be remembered. The only way I'll be remembered is through other people. It's like, um, you are, and my best friend Jason always preaches this. You are sort of an amalgamation of everybody who's influenced you, and so whoever I've influenced will influence other people who will influence other people. And in that sense, I'll be remembered, but not by name. You know what I'm saying? I'll be remembered by whatever anonymous contributions I gave to someone's life. And when you look at it that way, it's kind of beautiful because you might be, you might be the memory of someone from 1,000 years ago. You might be holding the influence of someone from 2,000 years ago. And so, yeah, I mean, in that sense, maybe I'll be remembered forever. But I don't think by name. I think by my Instagram account, and I don't think by, you know, my mustache. I think it'll be by much more subtle and probably humbling things.
It would be your art and how you left an incredible impression on all our souls.
Hopefully, hopefully.
I truly hope you enjoyed this conversation and this louder session with us. And we truly can't wait to see your next
Thank you.
move, your next big thing. And I hope you keep doing what you're doing, inspiring us all with your beautiful self. And please don't give up on being yourself,
Never.
because being yourself has implanted a seed within all of us over here. And I promise you that is the fact. I can send you screenshots, what people are saying about you. So, really, thank you
I
so
did.
much, Anita, for being here.
I
Sorry.
love this conversation. I love this conversation. It was a wonderful part of my day, and I think because of this conversation, I will be creating more beautiful art today. So thank you.
I'm so happy. So, we'll speak soon. And hopefully, when you're here in Dubai, we'll get to see you.
That's a guarantee.
All right, amazing. Take
Peace.
care. Bye.
Bye.